And we start at noon with breaking news. Matt Gaetz, Donald Trump's controversial pick to be the next U.S. Attorney General, no longer wants to be considered for that job. The Republican congressman withdrew his name today, posting that decision on social media, saying, quote, "It is clear my confirmation was unfairly becoming a distraction to the critical work of the Trump-Vance transition." This comes one day after the House Ethics Committee met about potentially releasing the report on their investigation into allegations against Gaetz of sexual misconduct with a 17-year-old girl, as well as illicit drug use. They did not make a decision on releasing the report, but there were two resolutions on the House floor calling to force that committee to release the report. The committee, now scheduled to meet again December 5th to discuss the matter further. Gaetz had resigned his House seat after Trump announced his nomination, so now his future in the House is certainly unclear. Today, there's new information about Trump's choice to be the next defense secretary, Pete Hegseth. Hegseth has been accused of sexual assault in California. Police investigated it in 2017, but he was not charged. Today, though, the Associated Press got the police report detailing the woman's account. She said she believes she was drugged before finding herself in an unknown hotel room with Hegseth over her on a bed and saying no a lot. Hegseth's lawyer says the encounter was consensual. Colorado politics now, as we turn to what's new at noon. Another state senator is stepping down from her post. Democratic State Senator Janet Buckner made that announcement this morning. She represents Aurora. She's resigned after serving for the last 9 years. She was first appointed to the House to fill her late husband's vacancy, but was reelected earlier this month after running unopposed. In a statement, Buckner says she's stepping aside to prioritize her health and her family. Just last week, State Senator Chris Hansen also announced that he's resigning from the Senate after he had just won re-election as well. Vacancy committees will now fill those seats. Warmer weather settling in across the region. Taking a live look at the Mile High City now, where you can see the temperatures heading back to the 60s. So let's check in with 9 News Weather Impact Team Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin. Nice to see those warm temperatures.
It is nice, especially, Tom, when we're just a day from the weekend and a lot of us have plans. So let's take in this glorious day with sunshine and light winds. And for those of you that like snow, we've got more snow coming for the mountains just in time for the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday. And so your weather headlines: Denver's got a warming and drying trend through the weekend. Mountain snow begins on Sunday and could go for several days. What that storm will mean in terms of an impact for you during the Thanksgiving week, we'll talk about that coming out. But we're already warming up. We're 47 at DIA, 49 in Pueblo, 51 in Colorado Springs. Average highs about 50. And in the past 24 hours, the temperature swing has been about 10 to 20 degrees warmer, especially in the mountains and foothills, than we were this time yesterday. And thankfully, the wind is not a big story today, but there may be just enough wind in the upper levels of the atmosphere to bring in a little bit of a mountain wave cloud, which could make for a really pretty sunset tonight. But it's all about the bomb cyclone in the Pacific Northwest. Record rain, record snow, record barometric low pressure. That's a storm headed for Colorado coming in over the weekend. Wouldn't know it by looking at the future cast. We do have a warmer temperature trend ahead of that storm coming up in Maine weather. The timing and impact of that storm and what it means for you, that's all just ahead.
Jury selection is now underway in the trial of James Craig, the former Aurora dentist accused of killing his wife with poison. Police arrested Craig more than a year ago while they were investigating the death of his wife. He stands accused of poisoning his wife Angela with potassium cyanide and Visine eye drops. Craig also faces additional charges, including evidence tampering and perjury, which legal experts could bolster the prosecution's case. The jury selection is expected to last 2 days. The trial slated to start on December 2nd. Thornton police have just announced that the driver, believed to be responsible for a crash in Thornton that killed 4 members of one family, that driver died nearly 2 weeks ago, but the person's name has not been released. Police say October 26th was when it all happened. A Subaru crashed into an SUV at Thornton Parkway and Washington Street, that impact causing an explosion. A couple and their 10 and 15-year-old daughters inside the SUV died at the scene. Denver police are saying the program that they started in July called Hot Streets is working and reducing violence in different areas. DPD says they pick a couple of blocks where they focus on increased patrols, and every 2 hours officers will drive by with lights on, patrol the area on foot, and talk to people there as well. They also pick a different area nearby to be a control group. Every 28 days, they change locations. Police telling the city council they've seen a 40% decrease in violence in those hot streets locations. Council members were asking what happens when the officers move on. Police say they do see a bit of an uptick in crime when they move on, but they say overall there is a decrease in crime in those areas. Today, Denver Public Schools Board is going to vote on the superintendent's proposal to close 7 schools and restructure 3 more. That board is scheduled to meet at 4:30 this afternoon. If they approve the plan, it could also cost the district some teachers. DPS says teachers at the schools that close are guaranteed a job within the district as long as they've had at least 3 years of positive evaluations. They also would still have to apply, but would be given first priority in interviews. However, teachers without that 3-year track record are not guaranteed a job within the district. The teachers union is concerned about that.
We have a middle school and high school competing against the middle school and high school just literally blocks away. But then as they move and they change and they take the programming from here and put it here, they're not bringing those educators with them. Those educators have to find their own job. Maybe they'll apply, maybe they won't. We don't know.
Again, that board meeting at 4:30 today. Once the vote is taken, we'll be having the results for you here at 9 News as well as posted at 9news.com. College football now. The Colorado Buffaloes have landed the likely successor to Shedeur Sanders at quarterback. Today, 5-star recruit Juju Lewis announced that he's committing to CU. He's ranked the #2 recruit in the 2025 class by ESPN, and he had committed to Southern Cal. He decommitted just 4 days ago, though. Lewis visited CU back when the Buffs played Cincinnati last month. He plans to make all of this official when the early signing period opens up on December 4th. The Avalanche road trip continues tonight in Washington, D.C. when they face the Capitals, and you can watch that game right here on 9 News and on KTVD Channel 20. The pregame coverage starts at 4:30. The puck will drop at 5 o'clock. And because of the hockey action, well, we'll have some programming changes to our newscast this afternoon. So 4 o'clock at 9 News will air on Channel 9, but just for the first half hour. But then at 4:30, when the Avs pregame show starts on 9, our newscast will head right over to 9 News Plus. That's also where you'll find 9 News at 5 and Next with Kyle Clark at 6 o'clock. 9 News at 9 and 10 will air normally on KTVD and Channel 9 respectively tonight.